this Mrs. Portland. I keep hearing about this Mrs. Portland from these different channels. And she goes around trolling people. You're a nasty, bitter witch. I said the W word instead of the B word because I don't want to be too inflammatory or defamatory on my channel. So I'm not using the B word. But she goes around saying, Natasha Cooper, you're a nasty, bitter witch. And lots of other nasty things. You've got a black sheep in your family. I mean, what is wrong with this woman? She obviously is psychologically challenged, and a lot of other things that I could say that I'm not going to say. But she is an example of what I want to talk about today, or talk about in this podcast. Trolls. You're a nasty, bitter witch. So in this podcast, I want to talk about trolling, online trolls, harassment, to a lesser extent, stalking, the online true crime community, particularly pertaining to the Watts case. And some other things. Now, I've got, or at least I had a sub who got very upset with me for talking about Justin Lee Reacts. He didn't outright admit that he was apparently washing his hands of me or disowning me, wanting nothing to do with me. That's what he told me, wanting nothing to do with me. He didn't openly admit that the reason why he wanted nothing to do with me was because I was talking about Justin and I was being fair and balanced in terms I said favorable things about Justin and I said not so nice things about him as well. Basically, the thing about the matter is that this guy thinks that I've got the hots for Justin and he thinks that Justin fancies me. And he also is very much team Ruzek. And I agree with, we both agreed on a lot of things in the Watts case, like Nicole Kessinger not being part of this murder and, you know, the integrity of this case. You know, we don't buy into the conspiracy theories. So I think apart from the fact that he was disgusted at the thought that I was attracted to Justin and that Justin was attracted to me, he was also, and I really wish I hadn't said that, but I have to admit it. I have to admit this is what happened and I just want to get it out the way. He was also upset that I was giving Justin airtime because he thinks that Justin is a horrible person, and I understand that. He thinks that Justin is a despicable human being for what he's doing in regard to Shanann, and I totally understand that. And I'm sure he's not the only one who thinks that I shouldn't give him any airtime. I could show you the messages or the comments that he left underneath my videos to back up my claim, but and I actually didn't delete his comments. He did, because he was just annoyed with me and angry with me. But one day I might do a further podcast on this, talking about trolls and, you know, talking about when people turn on you because of your opinion or because you're talking about somebody that they don't like. But I really wanted to get that elephant out of the room because this guy was really angry with me and didn't think that I was paying him enough attention. And Justin has just come along and here I am talking about Justin. And I think he felt that I wasn't giving him enough attention, which is not true. But for some people, you can just never give them enough attention. But anyway, moving on. I also want to deal with some of the things that the Ruzeks have said about lawsuits and suing people. And Justin talked about this in some of his videos, or at least one of his videos, where he was talking about Sandra and how he thinks that the Ruzeks are looking for problems or looking for trouble and that they're trying to muzzle people. And I'm going to be fair and balanced about this as well. Some of what Justin says is absolutely true. And in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, you can't always bring a lawsuit against somebody just because they say something bad about you. That's just not how life works. People are always going to troll you, not like you, say bad things about you. We can't sue everybody because they say something nasty about us. Even now, I would say that there's quite a few people saying nasty things about the Rusex. There have been quite a few people who said nasty things about the Watts. It would be so time consuming to sue every single person. Not only would it be time consuming, but it would cost so much money to sue everybody that's saying something bad about you that it wouldn't even make any sense. It wouldn't even make any sense. So the point I'm trying to make is that you're always going to have haters, and I've started to get haters as well. When you start to get more subscribers, when you start to get over 1,000 subscribers, and people start to get to know who you are, and you're very outspoken, you're going to have haters, and that is a simple fact. Most of the people that come to my channel are really nice, very respectful. I would say about 89% of the people that come to my channel, including my own subscribers, are wonderful to me and very nice to me. There's a channel that I follow called KJ and the Ray, who focuses on the Lori Vallow case, the Lori Vallow Daybell case. I love her. I love that woman. I don't agree with everything that she says. I actually disagree with a lot of things that she says. But I also do agree with some of the things that she says. And she's a wonderful Southern lady. She's full of life. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. And she has a lot of fans because of her personality. She has a wonderful personality. But she also has haters. And she was talking about this on her channel the other day. Somebody called her a liar, said that they didn't like her. And KJ got upset. When you start to get subscribers, like I said, when you start to have more than 1,000 subscribers, you're always going to have people who don't like you. That's just it just comes with the territory. Every now and then I get nasty comments. Sometimes I see the comment and I start laughing and then I delete it. And then other times I kind of go into panic mode and think, no, I don't want this on my channel. I want to disengage immediately, and I just delete the comment. It happens to all of us when you're outspoken about certain things. You're going to, even if you have a cooking channel, there's lots of things that I do apart from my channel. I spend a lot of time watching true crime shows. I'm a true crime buff. I'm a true crime fan, and I've been that way since I was a teenager. I spend a lot of time cooking, baking, testing recipes, writing up recipes, redoing recipes, and photographing recipes. I spend time on other channels. There's other channels that I watch on YouTube that have absolutely nothing to do with what I talk about on my channel. There are cat channels that I watch. There are monkey channels that I watch. One of my favorite channels was a channel called Monkey Do, and the family seemed to have disappeared. I don't know what happened to them, but I would watch that channel every single day, and it had nothing to do with anything that I discuss on my channel. It was just a channel about a baby monkey that I loved. So there are lots of things that I do in my spare time or as a hobby outside of what goes on my channel. And, there are lots of other channels who do nothing wrong and still get trolled. And that just comes with the territory. It's something that we all have to accept. And apart from that, I'm also a Manchester United fan. There's other interests that I have outside of what I talk about on my channel. And I go through ups and downs and stresses like anybody else. There are days when I'm not feeling great, when I'm feeling quite sensitive or insecure. There are days when I'm not always bold and outspoken and brash. There are times when I'm just kind of just not feeling great. I have my days when I just don't want to speak to anyone. And then I have days when I'm more social. So, you know, there are other things apart from my channel. But back to the trolling and stuff like that. Unfortunately, you can't sue everybody that says something bad about you. And what's going on with the Watts case is absolutely awful in terms of the things that have been said about Shanann, the way she has been dissected, the cruel and maliciousness in the way she's been talked about, the conspiracy theories and the lies. And the Ruseks have every right to be angry, to be upset, to be bitter, to lash out. I would be doing, if I was in their shoes, I would be a basket case. And sometimes we say things out of anger and out of frustration that we don't necessarily mean. So, like I said, I'm kind of losing my train of thought. We can't always go after everybody legally just because they say something bad about us. The only people that really have success with lawsuits are gazillionaires who have, a tremendous amount of money to go after those that say bad things about them. When you have to raise money, especially when you're in a different country, it's just a very, very, very difficult thing to do. And it's a hill that I don't think that they're going to climb. But I do think that there are some people who should be held accountable for what they're doing with regard to this family. And unfortunately, social media sites haven't removed them, which is very, very sad. I have quite a few. Oh God, somebody's cutting the grass behind me. I hope you don't hear the noise. I have quite a handful of very loyal subscribers who I speak to on a very regular basis. I could go through the names, but I won't. I want to keep the privacy. Who I have conversations with. Some people I have more conversations with more regularly, others less often, and I really, really appreciate all your support. What happened with regard to this guy who got so angry about me speaking about Justin? That was quite I've been told by another channel creator that he said some nasty things on her channel, so I wasn't completely shocked. But up to that point, we were getting on quite well until Justin came into the equation. Justin is a married father of 3. Come on, people. Come on, the sub that got upset about me speaking about Justin. I make no excuse. I make no apologies. I make no... I'm not going to pretend that I don't like him. I like him a lot. But I don't necessarily agree with everything he says or does. There's some times that I do agree with him. I think he has a lot to bring to the table. I think he has a lot to offer. And I can't promise that I will never speak to him. I can't promise that I'm not going to speak about him. And I also can't promise that, I'm not just gonna cancel him or dislike him because we have different views. I think some of his views and some of the videos that he's put out are very, very powerful. And I've got subs that are very protective of me. And that's what happens when you have a channel. Subs become protective of you, and subs become, they look out for your best interest. And I really appreciate that. And I've got some wonderful subs who look out for my best interest and try to warn me about certain things. And I could actually use a lot of examples of some of the nasty comments that I do get, but I've decided not to do it in this particular podcast, but this subject will come up at another time. And like I said, with regard to the Ruseks, there are some people that I think need to be held accountable. And I think Miss Mensah is one of them. Apart from the fact that I think Miss Mensah has a superiority complex, I think that she is a troll. And I think that she tries to lure people into her spider's web. And I think her agenda is to get the message out there that Shanann was a terrible person. And I think that's what she tried to do with Justin as well. She tried to get him into her spider's web. And because he wouldn't land inside her web of manipulation and deceit, she turned and she got angry because she was saying very, very flattering and complimentary things about him before she went on her rant and before she started swearing at him and calling him derogatory names. And in his defense, he was very nice to Miss Mensah. And even after she swore at him, he was still nice to Miss Mensah and was respectful towards her. Now, that doesn't mean to say that he doesn't have, there's not some manipulation going on his part as well. You know, he's no angel. You know, he's not a choir boy. But the way she treated Justin was uncalled for. But at the same time, I know that he's trouble. He's a bit of a troublemaker. He's a bit of a pot stirrer himself. He's not perfect. I did say that I think he's sexist and misogynistic. So, you know, he's no angel. You know, I'm not saying that he's an angel, but he does bring something different to the table. And I do understand why so many people are interested to see what he has to say. And sometimes I do agree with him. I think he's extremely perceptive, very intelligent. And, you know, I think that he brings something new and fresh to the table, despite his downside, which there are a lot of downsides with him. And let me tell you, I was looking at some of the conversations that me and Miss Mensah had before she turned on me. And I actually enjoyed the conversations that I had with Miss Mensah. And if she would just stop being so manipulative and just got rid of the ego, the narcissism, the superiority complex, she could actually be a very nice person to engage with. But because she's so superior, she sits on top of her high horse, her hierarchy. She is at the top. She looks down at everybody else. Because she feels so superior to everybody else, and because she wants to manipulate, that's all she's about, manipulation. It stops you from really liking her. But if she was to take that manipulative streak away, she could actually be a very nice person to engage with. I enjoyed my conversations with her. But even though I read the pleasant exchanges that we had before she turned on me, even when I read them, I see her manipulation. I see the seeds that she was trying to plant and the rumors that she was trying to start. It's all about manipulation. And let me just say this, the bad boy, as if you got here, I know that Justin will be listening to this podcast because I think he listens to my podcasts. Well, I know that he does because he's nosy. Yes, you are. The bad boy always gets the girl. We always like the guy that's dangerous. We always like the guy that is the forbidden fruit, the guy that we're not supposed to like, the guy that your mum warns you don't get involved with, the guy that your friends warn you don't get involved with. That's the guy that we always like. The one that is the bad boy. We always go for the bad boy, don't we? A lot of us. And Justin is just a very bad boy. I mean, he's manipulative as well. I mean, he went into Miss Mensah's chat and he was just taking the piss. He was talking about doing lines with Ronnie. You know what I mean by lines? Because Ronnie had a problem. And he was just chatting all kinds of nonsense, and he was dragging Shanann again, which I was very disappointed to see. And he was just trying to stir up crap, and he was just trying to be a loudmouth and a gossiper. And he was just trying to get in on a little action and little gossip. And it was a place for him to also vent about. I mean, he doesn't like the Rusex. I know that. And Miss Mensah was just, as soon as she realized he was in chat, she was just swearing. And I've never heard her swear before. She was really angry. She really was hoping, and when she said that she's so disappointed with Justin, I actually really believe her. She was really hoping that Justin was somebody that was going to be in her little group. That's what she was hoping, that she could manipulate Justin to believe every single thing that she believes. And when she realized that that wasn't going to happen, for now, she was really upset with him. But the thing about Justin is that, you know, he's a bad boy, and I'm trying to put this in the right words. He's a rebel, and he's a bad boy, and he doesn't have a record for nothing. You know what I mean? A record, you know, he's been inside a few times. You know, but he does have regardless of all his flaws, he does have a lot to offer. I don't agree with a lot of things he says, but there are times when I really do agree with what he says, and I think that he backs up a lot of what he says very well in his videos. He's a character, and he's special. He's special. Is he a good person? I would say he's not a good person. No, he's a bad boy. And women, we always like the bad boys. Just being honest.